Dear faithful, with this video, we want to share an extraordinary story that has touched the hearts of thousands of people worldwide. We are talking about Carlo Acutis, an exceptional young man who was beatified on October 10, 2020, in the majestic Basilica of San Francesco d'Assisi. Carlo Acutis was born on May 3, 1991, in London, to an affluent family from Turin. His parents, Andrea Acutis and Antonia Salzano, had just celebrated their first wedding anniversary and were in the United Kingdom for work. But Carlo's life was marked by an extraordinary event. When he was just 4 years old, his maternal grandfather, who had recently passed away, appeared to him in a dream, asking him to pray for him. This experience deeply touched him, and from there, he began to take an interest in the Catholic faith. Young Carlo developed a profound interest in religion, encouraged also by the answers from his Polish babysitter. At the age of 7, he decided to receive his first communion after appropriate training and consultation with a prelate. His family organized a special ceremony at the convent of San Ambrogio. From that moment on, Carlo spent time in prayer before the tabernacle, maintaining a close relationship with the Eucharist and confessing weekly. Carlo had many spiritual models and guides in his life, including Saint Francis of Assisi, Domenico Savio, Tarcisio, and Bernadette Soubirous. He even invited them to his home to support them. He was also a champion of justice, defending disabled peers from bullies and helping the homeless and needy by providing them with food and clothing. Despite his passion for soccer, animals, cinema, and video games, Carlo was in love with computer science. He was a true genius in creating websites, programs, and applications, and he used this skill to spread the word of God and promote devotion to the Eucharist. In fact, Carlo created a website dedicated to Eucharistic miracles worldwide with real, serious, and in-depth documentation. The site is still available on the web and can be easily accessed. Carlo Acutis' life was characterized by simplicity, joy, and faith. Despite being a modern young man with a passion for technology, he never allowed himself to be distracted by the temptations of the world. He knew well that true happiness resides in God and the Eucharist, which he called my highway to heaven. Carlo had a deep devotion to the Virgin Mary, whom he entrusted himself to with love. He recited the Rosary every day and wore the sacred scapular. He was a generous, altruistic, and charitable young man. He not only performed acts of physical mercy but also dedicated himself to spiritual works of mercy. He was committed to spreading the faith among his friends, relatives, and even priests, using his example, words, and the internet as a tool. He had no fear of testifying to his faith and his love for Jesus. Carlo was also a humble, obedient, and respectful young man. Despite his extraordinary intelligence and preparation, he never boasted about his achievements. He was always ready to listen to his parents, teachers, and authorities, respecting rules and duties with humility. Carlo was a serene, optimistic, and confident young man. Despite the challenges he faced, such as his mother's illness or his grandparents' divorce, he never allowed anger or despair to prevail. He always saw the positive side of situations and placed deep trust in divine providence. After his death on October 12, 2006, in Monza, his body was later transferred to Assisi, where he rests in the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore. On July 5, 2018, Pope Francis declared him venerable, recognizing his spiritual virtues. Subsequently, in 2019, the same Pope approved the miracle attributed to his intercession. This miracle involved the unexplained healing of a Brazilian child suffering from a rare congenital pancreatic disease. The child, named Mateus Viana, was born in 2009 with a severe pancreatic malformation that caused severe digestive disorders and endangered his life. Despite the best efforts of medicine, doctors had been unable to find a solution to his condition, and his parents were desperate. Mateus's mother, along with others, fervently prayed for Carlo Acutis' intercession to intervene with God for her son's healing. During a visit to a traveling exhibition about Carlo Acutis, Mateus's mother decided to bring a relic of Carlo consisting of a lock of his hair and placed it on Mateus's chest while praying. Incredibly, from that moment on, Mateus began to improve rapidly and remarkably. His digestive disorders completely disappeared, and no scientific explanation could justify this healing. This extraordinary event was considered a miracle attributed to Carlo Acutis' intercession. The news of this miraculous healing spread rapidly, attracting the attention of the Vatican. After thorough medical and theological investigation, the miracle was recognized and approved by Pope Francis, paving the way for Carlo Acutis' beatification. The beatification of Carlo Acutis has generated extraordinary interest and admiration worldwide, especially among young people. His exemplary life of faith, humility, and dedication to God has inspired many to follow his example and seek holiness in modern life. Today, Carlo Acutis is considered a model of virtue for young people and a powerful intercessor with God. His story reminds us that holiness is not reserved for remote figures from the past but can be achieved by ordinary people like us in the context of everyday life. Carlo Acutis' life teaches us that holiness is not an abstract or unattainable concept but something that can be concretely lived in our daily lives. Carlo was a normal young man with common passions and interests, but he managed to integrate his faith into every aspect of his existence. For example, his passion for the internet and computer science was not separate from his spirituality but a means to spread the gospel and share his faith with others. Carlo shows us that even the most common daily activities can become an opportunity to live virtuously and sanctifyingly. His dedication to supporting friends in need, his compassion for the less fortunate, and his commitment to defending the weakest teach us that holiness consists of loving and serving others by practicing gospel values of compassion, solidarity, and justice every day in our ordinary lives. We have the opportunity to make choices that bring us closer to holiness in our everyday lives. We can show kindness to others, practice gratitude, forgive, be generous, and live with integrity. Let us remember that God calls us to a life of holiness, a life full of love, passion, humility, and joy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the little bell. It will be a significant contribution for us to continue spreading messages of faith and hope. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.